Hey everybody, for a change of pace, we're working on fixing a car today. It's an '04 Ford Escape with a V6. It originally was supposed to come to me for a new power steering pump, which isn't too awful. I'd say consistently working on it, you can probably, depending on experience level, it's probably about an hour to an hour and a half job if you have all the tools. But about a week before it's supposed to come to me, the alternator went out, and nothing about the alternator on this vehicle looks easy. So this will be kind of a part one. This will be removing the power steering pump, and I will show you all the tools that I used to remove it. Okay, here's all the tools that it took to get it out. Impact, if you don't have an impact, this gets you a good breakover bar. I use this little crow's foot pry bar, this flex head 1/2-inch drive ratchet. Sockets needed are 18 millimeter, 13 millimeter, 12 millimeter, 10 millimeter, 8 millimeter. My 3/8 drive ratchets, screwdriver to remove the hose clamp for the return line, 3/4 inch line wrench to remove the other high pressure line. So it wasn't too awful. The powering steering pump is mostly on top. Doesn't look like it's gonna be awful. The alternator's way down there. I saw one video and the guy took off the wheel and the strut and everything and dropped it down through the fender well, but I don't know if that's the route I'm gonna go since I have to do the power steering pump that's on top. I may go ahead and pull this mount, lift up the engine, and see if that gives me enough access to do it all. If not, then plan B. And we're gonna start by taking the plastic cover off, get out of the way. There's one little nut there. It is an 8 millimeter. Looks like there used to be one in this hole, but it's gone. Let's get that out of the way. Okay, to save a whole big mess, I'm gonna pinch off this line coming out of the power steering pump reservoir. All right, I'm going to remove this engine bracket first. This little bracket is a 10 millimeter. This nut, this double nut, these two bolts, and this bolt are all 18 millimeter. Okay, next step. Unplug your sensor. Once that bolt is out of the way, I'm gonna come out here and disconnect the line. And hopefully pull that hose up here and out of the way. Obviously we're gonna want it up high so the fluid doesn't dump everywhere. Okay, now we're gonna break these 18 millimeters loose. My 24 volt flex won't do it, so I got this 3-foot breaker bar that should take care of it. So let's get them done and out of the way. Nuts are off, the other 3 bolts are broke loose. I'm gonna go ahead and put a jack and a 2x4 to support the engine once I remove this. Okay, so my breaker bar obviously did the job. We're gonna use a floor jack with a 2x4 on it to support the weight of the engine before I finish removing this motor mount. Next step, I removed the hose clamp here, pull that hose off. Now we're gonna come down to the belt tensioner here, let the tension off and get the belt out of the way. Okay, my next step, I went ahead and pulled this other bracket out. It's got two 13 millimeters, one there, one back here. I used a short 13 millimeter socket on a swivel, and I used a pry bar and pried these lines up in that bracket back here. I pried that up a little bit to give me enough clearance to get on the head of the bolt right here. Okay, once you have this lower bracket out of the way, we're trying to take the pulley off. A Stumpy impact works. I do not have a Stumpy at this time, so I just used a vice crimp like that to hold it. Put a little pressure on this side. Long ratchet, 1/2-inch drive, broke it loose. Pulley will come off. There's 2 more 10 millimeter bolts behind it, and then the pump should come out. So a little edit here. It's easier just to remove that pulley, and it gives you free and clear access to all the bolts behind there. Your 13 millimeters and all of the 10 millimeter nuts that are holding that front plate on there, actually holding the pump up. Okay, the pump is out. Okay, the pump is out. You can see all these little studs sticking out that had the small 10 millimeter nuts holding the outer bracket on. Set right here in this cavity. Okay, and then I'll show you the outer plate. In case you buy your parts on the internet, if you have this kind of bracket, your pump will look like this. My customer purchased this one off the internet, but it mounts vertical, mounting bolts vertical instead of horizontal. Looking at this bracket, this was a 12 millimeter, 12 millimeter, 12 millimeter, 13 millimeter, 13 millimeter, and the rest were all of the 10 millimeters. And there's, I believe, 2 bolts, and all the rest of them were nuts. So now we're at a stopping point. I've got to get the correct pump and put it all back together. But I hope this video helped you out. I will probably put up one for installing it, just in case I missed something or you need help going step by step putting it back together. Y'all stay safe. Don't forget your jack stands. And thanks for watching.